I just can't get myself together.
Yo, this is one of my favorite artists right now, bruh. No cap. Take a listen.
Dreaming in my own bed, couple days straight being headstrong. Pick a side, one leaves dead. I know I didn't choose wrong, 'cause I can feel it, I can feel it, I can feel it now. Am I dreaming?
What's up, y'all? Back with another one of my favorite videos to make, and this is one of my favorite artists to do it on, bro. No lies. Aurora Takeover song, Dreamin'. Dreaming. Not dreamin', dreaming with a G. So a little bit about Aurora. We started working pretty recently, I'd say probably 2 months ago. We've done a decent number of tracks together already, probably about 5 or 6. This is just one of them. They're all absolute bangers, let me just say that. I'm not gonna lie, Aurora's in my top 3 right now, if not my #1 client and artist I love to work with. So big shout out here because honestly, yeah, some of my favorite music that I've worked on in the past 3 years has come from Aurora, so shout out him. He's a super dope pop, experimental, alternative, hyper pop-esque type of artist from Massachusetts, I believe. Breakins-esque. A couple of ones I mixed for him definitely have some of that Breakin-y vibe. You know, they got some like AI intro and outro talking type of things, a lot of effects, interludes, spoken word interludes, things like that. So it's very, very artsy, and it's not just like a song, a rap song, or like, there's so much more to it, there's so many layers to it, and that's why I think I love working on it so much, because it's the type of music that I really connect with. So my goals for this mix, just like all of Aurora's songs in general, is to just make something really creative. So obviously I want it to sound good, which I do of course, but the main point that I'm trying to hammer home with all of Aurora's songs is to do things that spark the listener's attention. So if I was listening to it as a listener and something just happened and I was like, ooh, that's sick, or the panning here was cool, or that form and shift automation clip was crazy, that's what I want to incorporate into Aurora songs. I want things to constantly be popping up that like takes a listener by surprise and makes them, you know, takes them back into the song, gets them rehooked to the song through every little thing that I'm adding in the mixing process. So that's really what the goal was for this mix. Obviously we want to get the fundamentals right, we want the vocals to sound crispy, full, lovely, but really the main focus is in all those extra things and the changes and the switches and the automations and the creativity. So maybe that's why I love working on Aurora's stuff so much, because his voice is so good. The fundamentals are really easy to do on his voice, and then there's just so much room for creative things. I think that's really why I like it so much. Anyway, I think I've rambled enough. Let's get straight into it. So as you can see, we're here in the project, and first glance, looking a little messy, guys. I told you I'm not the neatest. But you can see we have a couple automation clips here and here. Move that one up. There we go. We got a couple beat cuts as well. We got some layers here, the purple and blue clips. So let's break everything down. The first kind of cool experimental thing that I did with the vocals was this opener vocal that was sent by itself, and I did a really cool super stereo wide reverb sound. I also added a delay onto it with these settings, as you can see here, just Fruity Delay 3. Do not hate on the stock plugins, they work amazing, at least the Delay 3 does. And this was my reverb settings: smooth plate, pre-delay on 0, decay time on the lowest it can be 0.2. That's really, if you guys are Brevin Kim fans, that's kind of a lot of what their sound is categorized as, especially in the last, I'd say like 2 years. They're also from Massachusetts, funnily enough. They use that sound a lot in their music, and it gives it this like super wide sound. So I thought I stereo-wise this, I actually didn't. It's actually just the reverb that's doing that. It makes it sound like, I don't know what the word is, but it's its own vibe. It's the smooth plate sound, and it is awesome. Also on that, I just had the delay automating up a little bit towards the end, so the space between, you know, here bar 8 to bar 9, there was some more prevalent delay, so it wasn't like an awkward pause before the drums came in and, you know, things dropped on bar 9. So I'll play it here with the delay and reverb, and then without the delay and reverb, so you can see what I did. So this is without the delay and reverb. As you can tell, very dry. Sounds great dry, but obviously we want a little effect for the intro, so this is what it sounds like with the delay and reverb. Super stereo.
dreaming.
Then the next cool thing I did was here in the chorus, I added these form and shifted layers as delays. So I didn't have it hitting at the same time as the main vocal. As you can see here, I'm using them as a delay itself. I thought they sounded really cool. So I'll play this little section so you can hear it. And then also I've got a couple low octaves here as well, just to accentuate those points.
It's wrong, 'cause I can feel it, I can feel it, I can feel it now. Am I dreaming? I can feel it, I can feel it, I can feel it now. Am I dreaming?
That sounds crazy. That sounds so good. So for that form and shifted layer, just a lot of reverb. These are my settings here. Concert hall, 0 pre-delay, 4.23 decay. I didn't even put a low cut on this. I wanted it to kind of sound a little messy. I had the mix knob on 67%, so quite a lot there. And then obviously the form and shift as well. I use vocal bender. Don't hate on me if you use Little Alter Boy. I've just always been a vocal bender guy. I've never tried Little Alter Boy, to be honest, so maybe I'd like them more if I tried it, but this is what I'd be using. And then I had the classic pitch up 12, form and down 12, and then I just had that mix knob on 60% so that there's still some of the dry vocal. I feel like when you use that effect, I love that sound when the pitch is up 12 and the formant is down, but I find like a lot of the time it's very, very harsh in certain notes and at certain points throughout whatever vocal you're manipulating. Also, it tends to trip out and have like these weird points where you almost hear just like a like from the vocal. So to negate that, I just kind of turn the mix knob down. Sometimes I'll just cut the part out, you know, just on a case-by-case basis, whatever sounds best. But I'll solo that so you can hear the form and shift by itself. So you can hear the main vocal there too. Low octave, very distorted. Super nice, just layers to add to that chorus just to fill things up. Then the next section to take a look at would be where I did the beat cuts. As you can see here, I don't know how that differs from the original. Let's see. If I drag the beat here and drag it out, we can see how I changed it. Okay, so yeah, the kick here, I just made 3 of them instead of just the one, and then had two little cuts here just to create a stutter effect. Also, along with that, you'll see the automation clips here. When that stutter happens, and this is, I pretty much do this anytime I create a beat pause or stutter. If there's a delay and intense reverb on the vocal, I don't want that bleeding over. The whole point of that beat pause or a beat stutter is to have things really dry and focus on that stutter. So it sounds very messy if there's delay or there's a bunch of reverb that's just bleeding over into that pause and that stutter. So I see I did it with the reverb here as well, and then I actually took it out because I didn't like how the vocal sounded super dry. So I just left like the reverb that was on them on, because that wasn't bothering me, but the delay was definitely bothering me. So I'll mute the delay here so you can see what it sounded like before I, create this little automation clip, and you'll hear what I'm hearing, and you'll be like, yeah, I understand why he does that.
My breath coming to serenity with scar.
So you can hear that delay bleeding over into the section, kind of just making things messy, making it not as noticeable to hear that. But then with the automation clip on, there's no delay, and it sounds cleaner, crisper, and you can really focus on that pause.
My breath coming to serenity with scars in my chest.
As you can hear, there's still the reverb bleeding over. Let's hear what it sounds like with that on to see why I didn't like it, because I don't even know.
My breath coming to serenity with scars in my
Right. Okay, so it does sound a little bit too dry and too harsh. That's probably why I muted it. What I could have done here, which I probably should have done, is just created another automation clip with this. I had it unmuted, just have it at like a super low level. I don't know why I didn't do that, but we live and we learn, as Picasso said, or someone said that sometime in history. So anyway, then the next section to look at would be this little bridge-ish type of section we have going on here. He wanted these vocals, I remember him telling me, to be kind of reverbed out, so that's what I did. I also put a panning automation clip on them so that they're not mono, they're panning from left to right throughout this little bridge section. That's going to be for both these two yellowish looking clips over here. And at the end of this section, you'll see there's just a Camel Crusher automation and a Valhalla Vintage Verb reverb automation. Pretty standard stuff, especially for going back into a chorus. Producers know exactly what I'm talking about because they do this with beats as well, with rises and crashes and things like that. It's the same type of effect. It's just building that tension before you go back into the drop or the chorus or the main section. So I'll do that so often in songs and beats where there'll be a lot of the time a reverb automation, but also a distortion or saturation automation. I'll play this little bridge section so you can hear the panning, you can hear the reverb, and then you can hear that automation going into the final hook.
Creating this test. Now I see clarity and catching my breath. Looking for serenity disguising my chest. Knowing that I'll never be a man to be blessed. But I can feel it now. 'Cause I can feel it. I can feel it. I can feel it now. Am I?
And that is pretty much it, guys. Other than that, I think, you know, main vocals kind of just standardish chain. We had the fresh air going a little high. That is pretty high, I'm not gonna lie. 40 on the mids and 40 on the high. Especially on the high, that is high. I'm saying high a lot. Anyway, that's quite a lot of fresh air. Obviously, I thought it sounded good. So there you go. You saw some of the little reverb tricks, stereoization tricks, panning tricks, delay formant tricks, low octave tricks, everything that I used in this song. And yeah, once again, loved working on it. So now here's a before and after of Aurora Takeover's song Dreaming before my mix. Let's go.
Dreaming in my own bed, couple days straight being headstrong. Pick a side, one leaves dead. I know I didn't choose wrong. 'Cause I can feel it, I can feel it, I can feel it now. Am I dreaming? I can feel it, I can feel it, I can feel it now. Am I dreaming?
There you go, guys. That was my before and after and my breakdown of my mix of Aurora's song Dreaming. Big shout out to him, one of my favorite artists to work with, like I've said probably 100 times in this video. But yeah, man, seriously, gotta give props where props are due. As always, let me know what you thought of my mix and my techniques and my tricks and things and in the comments, and I'll see you guys in another video, man. Peace.